Welcome to the Queen's Conversations podcast, the official podcast for United Kwendom, LLC, hosted by Teddi Rene. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Queen Conversations podcast. It is your girl, Teddi Rene, and I'm trying something new today. So first of all, today is not Tuesday, okay? It's actually Wednesday, September 4th, and I don't know about you guys, but I got my days, as usual, all jacked up. Like the holiday weekend kind of just threw me off, and as usual, I thought today was Tuesday and not Monday. So I thought that since I have been having all types of mental, brain farts, kind of just getting into my schedule and messing up my plan in these scheduled episodes, that I would try something new. And I am trying Anchor because I would like a way that I can record my podcast content on the go. So I live in Waldorf, Maryland, which is like Wakanda. It's very far when it comes to commute, so it's kind of like the running joke in the DMV that you got to catch a flight to Waldorf, which a lot of times is true. And I work in Washington D.C., some in Virginia. So my commute to and from work, depending on what time I'm leaving, is the absolute perfect place for me to record the main content of some of my solo episodes. A lot of times as well, I am on the phone, so it's absolutely a wonderful place for me to record some of my guest episodes as well, if our schedules line up. So instead of wasting this valuable time and doing nothing, I've decided to give Anchor a try and see how this goes, so I can record on the go. Talk about efficiency, right? I know I don't like to waste any of my time. I like to get everything done. And then this way, all I'll have to do is edit the audio, add the intro and the outro, and boom, you guys have an episode done and in your ears a lot quicker than it would have been had I had to sit at home and sit at my mic and get the kids quiet and kick them out the room, or go sit in my closet and make the time other than the time that I originally scheduled to get this done. So here we are. We'll see how this goes. And yeah. So today, I am on my way to work right now. And one thing about me that a lot of people probably don't know, and it's crazy when I say things like this because I feel like I completely nerd out on traffic and just traffic flows and traffic patterns. When I was I don't want to say younger, because this was something that I thought about in a great deal of my adult life, I wondered what would you need to do credentials wise or education wise to be qualified as a traffic expert. It always intrigued me that I could leave for work at 6 o'clock or 6:30 in the morning. I could leave for work at 7 o'clock, and I could leave for work at 7:30, and I would still get to work at the same exact time. So I always wondered what goes into traffic and why traffic is this way. My biggest I'm about to nerd out just a little bit, right? I think one of the most brilliant, absolute, amazing, most wonderful genius creations in the entire universe, literally top 5, okay, in the entire universe is, and some of y'all are gonna be like, girl, please, I hate those things, but honestly, it's a traffic circle. Do you guys know what a traffic circle is? I know we have them here in the DMV, but a traffic circle essentially is an intersection where there's a circle for people to get on to the circle. You drive into the circle, and then you take the exit to whichever turn that you are making. And it's essentially supposed to work kind of like a spiral. So the reason a lot of people hate traffic circles is because they don't use them properly. And it kind of boils my blood just a little when I watch people make the mistake. But if you are driving into a traffic circle, number one, you can only turn, but at such a high speed, right? There's only so fast you can go on a turn in a circle. It forces you to slow down, to step on the brake a little bit, and you can't just fly around the circle. But when you're getting onto the circle or entering the circle, it looks scary because you have all these other cars coming and they seem to be coming faster than they are. They're not, right? They're braking because it's a circle. Imagine it's literally just a big ass turn. So that gives you, as someone getting into the circle, additional time to literally, without hesitation, if you do it right, step on the gas. If you're entering the circle and you are not taking the very next exit, which would be ridiculous if you did, unless it's a smaller circle, you need to go straight to the middle row or the middle lane or the most inner lane to get around that circle, and the lanes spiral outward. So if you start in the inner lane, the lane itself will shift so that it ends up being eventually the middle lane and then the outer lane. And that's what makes them so brilliant. Like, if you ever have been in a traffic circle and you have not learned to appreciate them yet, I 100% guarantee it's because you don't know how to use the traffic circle. I'm telling you, everyone that I explain this concept to, when you actually think about it, it's freaking genius. Anyway, so that kind of goes into today's episode, which is stepping into passion and purpose, because I am very passionate about my enjoyment and just the satisfaction, the joy, the genius of the traffic circle, which is weird. I know it's weird. A lot of people have told me it's weird. Guess what, though, guys? Have you met me? Okay? I am weird. Okay? By many people's definition. Weird, crazy, whatever you want to call it, that is I. No big deal. Okay? So today's episode, we are talking about stepping into passion and purpose. And it's literally just going to be a set of observations, as usual, my experience of how people find their passion and their purpose, and what a lot of people have done to leverage that into careers or just self-therapy, right? A lot of times we will see people who seem to just be loving the thing that they do, even though they're not making a bunch of money, or maybe they still can't afford to pay their bills, but they seem like the happiest, most stress-free person in the world. And that is because passion and purpose are a driving force. And I truly believe that we are absolutely aligned as far as like our destiny, what we're here to do, what we're supposed, like I absolutely believe that our passion and our purpose on this earth are both aligned with each other, and that God made it that way so that we could find joy in immaterial things, and things that are not of this world, not of the flesh, not of the earth, that we can actually have like a heavenly joy on earth. And that when we reach our purpose, that we are so just thrown into it with joy and just excitement that anything outside of that doesn't even matter, because we know we're going to be good, right? So before I start rambling, let's get into this episode. So the first thing or observation about passion and purpose is that I've made is, I guess, probably the more like solemn observation. And of course I'm going to start with this one, right? But the first thing that I've observed about passion and purpose is that it appears that a lot of people find their purpose in their own pain, right? They find their purpose in a major life challenge, a major life loss, a major life crossroad, a major life transition, something that deeply affected them to their core, that they now feel not obligated, but charged with the task of helping other people or preventing that situation from becoming a possibility for others, or as many others as possible. We have Oh, and our guest on Thursday, actually, Tiara Nicole, the episode is called Pain from Your Purpose, or Purpose from Pain, because that is absolutely what we discuss. So, like, for me, I always enjoyed helping people. I always enjoyed being the assist, the assist on any project, in any capacity. If I could help, I always would. I always could. It was just something that I naturally did, right? I also just happened to be the person to be able to connect people. Like, I would always, someone would say something and instantly I would think of a person as a resource. Hey, I know somebody who might be able to help you with that. Or, hey, so-and-so was just talking about the other day. Or, you know what? I might, my cousin, or I have a friend who they may know a little bit more about that than me. Let me get some more information for you on that, or let me connect you. Like, that's always just been natural. And it's not because I know a whole lot of people. I've just experienced a lot of people. Like, I've been in the same rooms with people. I ear hustle, y'all. Like, I listen to things that you probably don't even realize that I can listen to. Like, before I had children, I had mom ears. Absolutely. And it's funny because it's like, I literally, some things I don't hear. Like, you could be sitting right next to me and I'll hear nothing. But if you're on the other side of the room, I can hear every single word. And it's weird like that. But I have always just naturally helped people. Like, it's just been in my nature. If I could help them, I would help them. And oftentimes it was in the capacity of connecting them with someone else, and, so that they can pursue whatever it is that they're pursuing. Something that I'm learning is a great and valuable trait or skill or characteristic. I don't know which one it would actually qualify as, because it's absolutely helping me and my businesses, and it's also helping other people who are connected to me, and it just brings me so much joy. That is a part of the reason why United Kwendom even exists, right? So I know you guys have heard this story, but like, when my mom passed away, it was very difficult for me to find my tribe. It was very difficult for me to know who really meant it when they said, if you need anything, let me know, right? If there's anything I can do, let me know. People will say that to you until they are black and blue in the face, just because it's nice, right? It's polite. You lose a parent, you lose a loved one, you lose a child, you lose a spouse. If there's anything I can do, let me know. I make it a very intentional point not to say that if I do not mean it, right? If I am not in a place where I can help someone in any way, I will not say that. I will almost never say that. Same with, people who say, anytime. No, not anytime. You can't just hit me up anytime. Everyone can't. Everyone doesn't have that privilege. However, if I say it, I mean it. So, it was very difficult to identify who really meant it, like who was really about it and who wasn't. And I quickly found out who was really about it and who was just saying it, because I did need help, and I needed a lot of help. And I was asking people, and I was reaching out. I was doing things that were uncomfortable, which was actually asking for help. And I was getting exactly the response that I expected, previously, why I'd never asked for help. I was getting rejected. Oh, I can't right now. Oh, I can't right now. Oh, no, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe, and it was just like, I understand that other people's life circumstances get in the way of their capacity to help people. But at the time, I wasn't trying to hear that. So, for those people who were able to help in this form of information or resources or guidance or mentorship, like, those are the people who actually helped me to make the most drastic changes in my life, for the very best good of my life and the life of my children and my family. So that is how United Kwendom came about, because I made it my point and my purpose to not to help other women like me in similar situations who have like the entire world, or it feels like the entire world is crashing down on them over and over again. Like, as soon as they stand up, here comes the building just falling on you again. You stand up, you pull yourself out of the gravel, here it comes again. You pull yourself out, here it comes again, and again, and it never seems to stop in life, right? They say that God gives the toughest trials to his best soldiers, but don't nobody want to be a goddamn soldier all the time. Like, sometimes we just want to relax, take a break, enjoy a little bit of the accomplishments that we've had, sit in our victory. It doesn't seem like for a lot of women, especially black women who live in lesser income areas and homes and shit, the hood, let's be real, like, or close to the hood, or grew up in the hood, or their families, like, what, for a lot of us, it is not like, we don't want to wear it as a badge of honor. We just want to break, right? We just want some help. We just want to be able to, you know, cross one thing off our list and then just sit in it for a while. Like, we want to be able to sit in our victories because it allows us to recognize it as a victory, right? A lot of women have the mentality and the thought that they won't even get excited. They won't be happy. They can't really enjoy a win because they know that as soon as shit gets really good or as soon as they get comfortable, here comes some more bullshit. Like, real talk, like, honestly. And I'm, you know, for anyone offended by me cursing, again, have you met me? But yeah, but like, it's just, it's unfair. And for a lot of women like that, a lot of women like me, there isn't a lot of help because the people who are around you are going through similar things. And that was my experience. So it was a matter of, no one should have to go through all of this by themselves. Like, it shouldn't be this hard. What can I do to help others? And at the time, I had friends asking me for help and advice to start their businesses, on their relationships with their family members, relationships with their spouses, just life advice. Like, and it wasn't one thing, right? It was a lot of things all happening at once. They want to lose weight and go to the gym, but they're stressed out because they're arguing with their mom, and their mom doesn't like their boyfriend, which is putting strain and tension on their relationship. And they're trying to find a new job because they live with their mom, but they don't have enough money to move out. And it's never just one thing. So United Kwendom was created to help women in the full scope of life. Like, we can find a million websites where you can touch one of those pain points, where you can access resources for one of those problem areas. Everyone wants you to be or everyone tells you that you should pick something, pick one area. Don't be too broad. Don't try to do everything and then focus on that. But the reality is that as adults, as humans, as people, especially as black women and black men and women of color, it's never just one thing. Never just one thing with us. So for us to get help in 5 different areas right now, we have to go to 5, if not 10 different places to try and find resources that work for us. So United Kwendom was created to eliminate or mitigate that, right? We want a community where there is a resource, there is a community, there is a ecosystem of women helping women, connecting women to help in every area of life, the full scope of life. Understanding that all of our combinations of life's challenges are going to be unique, but in our conversations, we will identify and see a lot of commonalities in the types of things that we're going through and be able to help each other through that and guide each other in a direction that will better help us to navigate, overcome, and then even prepare for some of those things. So United Kwendom became not only my purpose, but because I was already in a space where I enjoyed connecting people and I enjoyed helping people, it aligned with that passion. And a lot of people do find their passion through their pain, and they find their purpose through their pain. Had my mom never passed away, had I not, experienced all of that hurt and all of that struggle, would I have been able to, connect the dots? It's possible. Would it be as important to me? Would it be as personal for me? Probably not. Because people really connect with the things that they can, the things that they know, right? The things that they experience. You connect more with people and things, experiences or events when it feels personal for you. And this is absolutely personal for me because I've always, if you ask people who went to college with me, and I mean, original college days, my original freshman year, Coppin State, at the time, Coppin State College, now Coppin State University, I used to always say to my friends as a motivational thing is that I am the weakest link in this group, okay? Like, I'm nobody special. I didn't have the perfect grades in school. I didn't come from the best background, like the best house. Like, I didn't come from like a mom and a dad and they didn't make six figures. Like, I am the weak, like, compared to my friends, I felt like I was the one that had the least. And if I could do something, if I could manage something, if I could get through something, they absolutely could. Not because they were better than me, but because I was no better than them, if that makes sense to you. And a lot of people in my past have taken that the wrong way. But it's always just been a matter of, I'm nobody special, and look what I can do. And if I can do it, then I absolutely know that you could do it. It's just a matter of you getting out of your own way and realizing that you have everything you need. And you also have the support of me, if nobody else. Like, you have me. And I like to think that that's helped quite a few of my friends and family in the past, but it's the truth. Like, I'm nobody special. So if I can do it, then I expect and I believe that anyone else can do it, you know? And I know that's difficult or maybe cliche to hear because a lot of people say that, but it's true. Like, there's absolutely nothing special about me except for the fact that one day shit got so tough that I had no choice but to get it together. The consequences of not getting it together completely outweighed whatever the consequences of trying to get it together and possibly failing were. Like, there was just no other way for me. So I found my purpose and my passion through my pain of losing my mother and having to go through that very challenging time. But it absolutely is something that gives me so much joy. I enjoy just sitting and researching and listening and looking. Like, I like to people watch. My bachelor's in psychology, right? I like to people watch, and social media gives me so much joy to just watch people, to just listen to and read about their pain and to see like what they're going through and how they're overcoming these things. Like, I'm the one on Twitter who somebody will randomly be like, oh my God, y'all, I got the job. And I'll congratulate them like I've known them for decades. Okay. Because sometimes it literally just, it will brighten up someone's life, not only to have achieved something great, but to have just like random people just cheer them on, especially because oftentimes we expect certain people to cheer us on, and too often are we disappointed when they don't. So if you ever have any accomplishment that you post on Twitter, follow me, Teddi_Rene. I absolutely, every single time, I'm just like, yes, congratulations, go King, go Queen, because it's exciting. Like, it's so exciting. And that's a part of what gives me pain, like purpose, right? That's a part of what drives me, like seeing other people achieve, because the more that people see other people like us achieve, the more they will know and understand that they can achieve too. I have 2 little black kids. They need to know and see that you can come from anywhere and end up anywhere, good or bad. And I need them to be able to know and understand that so that they can make the best choices for themselves as they get older. So the first thing that I've observed about stepping into pain, into passion and purpose, is that people often find it, their passion and their purpose, through their pain. The second thing, or the second observation about stepping into passion and purpose, is that they don't always come at the same time, or better yet, we don't always recognize them at the same time. Sometimes you will have a very strong enjoyment for something and just kind of brush it off as a hobby or something that you like, and maybe not realize that this is actually something that you're really, really passionate about, or something aligned to your purpose. And the same is true on the other end, right? So sometimes you will be able to identify your purpose. Like, you just know that this is something that you're just meant to do. It's for you. Everything's aligned. But it's not necessarily something that you feel like is your passion. You just do it because you do it, or you do it because you don't hate it, right? But oftentimes those just basic feelings of just, oh, I just do what needs to be done, actually it could be your actual passion. And it takes a while for a lot of people to realize that what they've always done and who they've always been is someone who has been activated or actually living in their purpose and in their passion. But for them, it just seems like a everyday thing. And that's okay. Like, your passion, it does not have to be this major joy, like trumpets and pomps and circumstance, like every single time that you participate in it. A lot of times it's stressful doing the types of work that are, that your passion and your purpose like require. Like, speaking of like a United Kwendom, it is hard work, right? Trying to figure out not only the best way to help people, but like where to start, because there's so many things that I want United Kwendom to be. There are so many ways I want it to help people, but it has to be strategic. And that stuff is tedious. It is in thought, in work. It is time consuming. It is attention to detail. And those are things that I do deep down enjoy. Like, I love puzzles, and they are time consuming. They are tedious. They are attention to detail. So while I know that I love puzzles, it's not always fun doing this type of work, right? I'm not always smiling, sitting at my desk, typing and looking, or creating content with a smile. Like, it's a struggle sometimes, but that doesn't mean that I'm less passionate about it. That just means that it's actually something that requires serious work, right? So a lot of times people will not even recognize that they're passionate about something just because the work is not fun. Like, when you think about passion, a lot of people, the first thing they think about is like romantic passion, and how you just have to be just like all over each other and just kisses and physical affection and attraction. And that's cool and all, but have you ever really been in love with somebody? Like, really, really in love with them? Like, you be all up on them all the time. Like, is it something, like, are you always, like, attached at the hip to them? Like, is it, like, seriously, think about that. Now, in the early stages, maybe. You might. I know I have. I do. It is what it is, but it's not like that throughout the duration of the relationship. There are tough times. There are times where you're just chilling. There's times where you're literally probably just in the same building, the same house, maybe the same room, but you're not really communicating or connecting or doing anything together. You're just there in that space, and it's enjoyable, right? And then sometimes you're talking to each other, you're doing something together, and you hate it. Does that mean that you're less passionate about them? Does that mean that you love them any less? Probably not. But that just goes to the point that some people don't recognize their passion because it's not this dramatic, cinematic, like, display as we think that it should be. Like, it's not like, Coach Carter screaming at the kids and making them do basketball because he's just so passionate. Like no, like, it's not going to always be this extravagant, over the top type of relationship or expression of your feelings and how you feel about something. It's just going to be you doing the work sometime. And sometimes that is enough for you to identify what your actual passion is. Like, the passion is why you are doing it, not what you're doing, or even sometimes how you're feeling when you're doing it. But it absolutely brings you joy. If it absolutely brings you joy throughout the process, sometimes you sit there and you reflect on what you're doing, what you've done, how it's going to turn out. Like, I know I sit there and sometimes I think about the things that are in my head, and I'm like, yo, like, when that's done, like, imagine how many people that's going to help. Like, that's going to be so damn dope. Like, you go, girl. Like, yes. Like, it excites me. But when I'm head down, click clacking, hands on keyboard, like, that's not necessarily when I'm feeling that joy or that pride. Like, I'm not passionate about, not yet passionate about, like, coding, but I enjoy coding. And I know that it is a means to an end to my passion. Same thing with purpose. A lot of times you don't realize that what you are doing is what you are supposed to be doing, purpose-wise, that what you have is something that is necessary for something greater in this world. And sometimes, because we are so consumed with the day-to-day everything, we can't even take the time, or we we don't take the time, not that we can't, we don't take the time to really connect the dots in our lives, right? So I say this like, I know that I am absolutely on the right track in my life, personal, professional, entrepreneurial, because everything in my past has happened so that I could be where I am. And I mean that to the point where I can directly correlate specific experiences, specific skills, jobs that I've had that were so short and so brief that back then I didn't think twice about what it was. It was just, that job just didn't work out. But now I look back and I can connect the dots and be like, I see you, God. I see what you did there, right? I see what I got from there, that is from that position, from that job, from that place, from those people, that is absolutely helping me right now in this purpose. Like, I can see the alignment of it all. And it's not always going to be that clear, especially when you're in those earlier days of building yourself up or being built up for your purpose, right? You're not always going to see the dots. You're definitely not going to be able to draw the line from dot to dot, but sometimes you're not always even going to see the dots. Like, you're just going to be in a dot. Like, when you are the dot, you can't see the other dots. They're too far away. So passion and purpose. Why do I keep saying pain and purpose? Passion and purpose are not two things that we always recognize immediately. Sometimes you just know, like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how it is. I'm so passionate. Like, you just, like, it's just there, right? But sometimes it's not. And that's okay. Does it mean it's less of a passion? No. Does it mean that it's less of your purpose? No. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps up number 2. But, pain. I keep saying pain. Passion and purpose are not always easily identifiable, and they don't always come at the same time. You may get one and then the other. You may get neither and then both. There's no right way to get them, to acknowledge them. It just, when it happens, it happens. When you know, you know. And that's real. Like, I know I keep talking about what's cliche and what's not. I watch too many rom-coms and all that stuff, but no, dead ass, like, when you know, you absolutely will know, and no one will be able to tell you anything otherwise. You will know so well, to the point where you are going to get to a point where you have to kind of check your ego when people give you advice, because you'll start feeling like, when your passion or your purpose or your vision or something that you're passionate about is being attacked, you'll take it as a personal attack. That's when you know that you're onto some shit. Right? I'm speaking from experience, because then you got to start digging in yourself and say, all right, wait a minute now. Let me back up, because what they're telling me is not meant to harm me. It's meant to help me. They don't know what I know. They don't have the passion and, the fuel behind it that I have. Let me, give yourself some grace and know that happens, especially when you're passionate about something. Okay. But we'll talk about passion by itself in other forms, a whole nother episode, y'all. So that's number 2. So here's the third and the final observation that I have made about passion and purpose. And it's one that I'm still, like, I would like to, I don't know, I kind of want to dispel it, like, as like a myth. Like, I want to prove it wrong. But it is absolutely becoming more clear to me that you can have ample, multiple, an array of passions, but your one true purpose is going to center around a centralized theme, or not even a task, but just a centralized theme. Like, there's going to be something in this world that you are tasked with, and that's that. Now, there may be 10 million ways to get to that, and that may, account for or speak to why you're passionate or seem to be multi-passionate, right? But all of those passions tie back into that one true purpose. And again, it's like I was saying previously, that connecting those dots when you are the dot is very hard to do. But at the end of it all, when you see the big picture, you're like, oh my God, like, all of that connected, right? Like, every last thing connected. When things that are not clear or do not appear to be directly aligned start to make sense, then I'm like, oh yes, like, yep, I am, like, I get it. Like, like, that makes me excited when I start to piece together parts of my life experiences that make sense now. Like, you look at my resume, you look at what I've done, where I've been, the many lives that I've lived, and none of that shit makes sense until I start opening my mouth, until I start telling you what I'm doing now. Then you kind of get a sense of, oh, okay, yeah, like, that's a very unique background, but it works, and it covers an array of needs for what is happening right now. So I think the same is true for passion and purpose. You can have a bunch of different passions, but they all feed into that one common purpose, that one overarching theme of what it is you are supposed to be doing in this life, what it is that you are contributing to this world, right? I think about like Sarah Jakes Roberts when I think of this, like how her passion seems to be everything. Like, she seems to enjoy podcasting, she seems to enjoy speaking, she seems to enjoy the women's ministry, she seems to enjoy fashion, she seems to enjoy trap music, right? Like, but all of everything that she does goes back to helping this generation of women to unleash their power, to, and to find themselves and to give themselves grace and to forgive themselves for their past so that they can step into whatever it is that God has. Like, everything that she does centers around this generation of women. And I love it because she finds all of these different platforms, all of these different methods to connect to different women to bring them all back to God. And I love Sarah Jakes Roberts. I talk about her all the time because I'm always listening to her and Pastor Torre. Anywhere that she is, if I'm not there and I could have been there, I'm like irritated. Like, she's coming to Baltimore. Anyone want to buy me a ticket to the Woman in the Wild tour? Baltimore? No? Okay. Thought I would just throw that out there. If you do, she's coming to Baltimore in, I believe, October. I would like to go. My funds are telling me that I can't go. But if your funds are telling you that I need to be there, holla at me and I will absolutely show up. But anyway, so like, I think about her when I think about, being multi-passionate, but having one true purpose. And I don't think that your purpose is going to be like niche based. Like, it's not going to require that, like, oh, you're a master of marketing and that's all you can do for your whole life. Like, no, it's going to require different parts of you to draw in different people. Like, you're going to be connected to so many different people in so many different ways that it makes sense that you're going to be passionate about different things in different ways to attracting your purpose or attracting people to that purpose that you have. That was kind of a short observation, but I mean, it's quick and to the point, right? You get it, right? Yeah. So, 3 things that I have observed about passion and purpose. The first one is that it often appears that your purpose and often your passion as well come from pain. That pain and passion don't always arrive at the same time. Sometimes they do. You can get one and then the other, or the other and then the one. It all just varies, and they're not always going to be very intense or immediately noticeable. And then the third thing that I've noticed about passion and purpose is stepping into your passion and purpose is that you can have many passions, but it appears that there is only one centralized purpose to all of it within individuals' lives. And I'm trying to see if I can prove that wrong, just because I'm a rebel. But we'll see. If I can't prove it wrong, I'm absolutely okay with that. I'm happy with the fact that we all have one major task on this earth, and it's so big that we can accomplish it in 10 trillion ways. Like, that in itself lets me know that I can do any damn thing that I want to do, and so can you. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. And guess what? I am pulling up to my parking garage at work. Yes, whole episode recorded in the car, thanks to Anchor. I'm gonna have to look into this. I think I might like Anchor. I don't know, SoundCloud. I might be in for some. I don't know. We'll see. If telling y'all see me start advertising Anchor as a sponsor, you know why. All right, y'all. Bye.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.